so let's jump into, I think the holy grail of turtle topics or subjects are the movies, because we start off with a banger just straight out the gate. And
still holds up today.
Let's just take our time to let's go one by one, because we owe it to the first movie. That movie, line for line, scene for scene, can't be beat. It hasn't been beat yet. They're still trying to.
You're so right. Yep.
Beat that movie or come to that movie. And I told you my stories of taking it to Miss Meyer's kindergarten class. Yeah. What's your That's how much I loved it, Joey. That's how much I loved it, man.
We're talking March 1990. So I think I'm 6 years old. I remember it's the first movie ever in my life that I saw, I think at least 2 times in the theater, maybe 3, but I'm pretty sure 2. I remember the first time I got there late and didn't even realize it, but I was sucked in so quick that I wasn't even, it was when
did you show up? Yeah.
I showed up, I remember seeing the TV screens when Shredder's like, find her, silence her, and he like throws the dagger.
Oh man, yeah.
So I'm that's probably 15 minutes in at least, dude. So I've missed a good chunk, but like, I remember, you're a kid, you're just like, what is this, dude? So the second time I saw it from the beginning, but I remember like I've shared this before that I remember leaving while I'm watching it, and then when I'm leaving, like feeling so proud that I'm a fan of it, dude. I was like, I was like looking around like, this represents me. Like I was like, this was insane. Like I remember thinking that as a kid, where I was just like blown away, dude. I was like, this is I've never seen anything like it at that point. Again, of course, I'm only 6 at the time. Yeah,
because I don't think I like clearly saw it until or remember it until like around kindergarten or like right before it. So that was a little years after. I probably, because then every movie come out like a year a piece, like a year after each other. They came out pretty quickly.
I think it was 90, 91, and then 93.
Yeah, so they were kind of quick on those. But
yeah, The Secret of the Ooze came out literally like exactly a year later. I think.
But that first movie, man, it was recently on Netflix again, and I've watched it multiple times while I was there. I have it on Blu-ray, but I might just need to buy it. And I have it in physical media, but I need to be able to just like load it up when I want to watch it, because line for line, I can go through that movie. I'm sure you're the same, Joey.
Dude, I can only watch it with like my buddy like Click to Enlarge, because if I watch with anybody else, they're not going to hear the movie because I'm going to say every line out loud, dude.
It was just so good, from Jim Henson's Creature Shop making those suits, and it just felt real, It felt like, okay, if something happens, they're gonna come right through that door, and I can dap them up and high five them right there. Like that's how real
dude.
it felt.
I remember getting Burger King videos, right? The cartoon VHS tapes, and one of them had the trailer. And that was my introduction to the movie, just knowing that a movie was coming out, dude. It was a trailer on the cartoon VHS that you buy from Burger King. And I remember like just watching the trailer over and over, right?
Yeah.
Just like I would rock up to my VCR and rewind my tape again, and I'd let the trailer play, and then I would do it again. I would like analyze it, dude. Like, oh my gosh, like this is going to be an actual movie.
And the thing is like kids of that time, the 90s, early 90s, late 80s, early 90s was just a different sort of time. You had Ninja Turtles that was, again, we had them so colorful in cartoon form, but then they come out gritty in their first movie. You're like, oh, wait a minute, something doesn't connect. And they're selling toys from it and doing all that. Like, I go back to saying, like, I had a RoboCop action figure. There should have been no way in the world.
There should be no RoboCop toy line.
Exactly. There should have been a Saturday morning cartoon too. So there's stuff like that where you're like, it was just a different time. Funny you mentioned
that. It's a great point, dude. Yeah,
it's just a different time. But with that movie, man, the puppets, the fight scenes, what was it?
The music. I remember the music. I was, even as a kid, I'm like. So I have to bring, I don't know if you saw this, but I've been posting a lot for Shapeshift vinyl.
Yes, I was going to ask you to talk about that.
Oh my gosh, dude. They are, the stuff that they're putting out right now. So they're coming out with they're doing like an original score, like of the original score from the 1990 movie, but it's 16-bit version on vinyl. Dude, and the animation they're doing for promos, dude, like people are flipping out because they're like, is this a real video game? Like people think like it's either a game or they're like, it needs to be made a game. The animation that Shapeshift's doing for that, dude, is insane. And again, they're just doing this to promote the vinyl, which, by the way, April 28th, I'm not sure when this will air, but April 28th, it will be available to pre-order.
Perfect. Yeah, and I saw it because you reposted it or shared it. And the first one I saw was probably, I think, were the Turtles around the campfire.
Yeah, dude,
with Splinter. And I was like, because I was like, wait a minute. Like, again, I thought the same thing. A game? But then I read the rest of the description. I was like, oh, that's going to be pretty tight. And the album art has been,
yeah, dude,
I don't know which one's the right album cover, but the one with Bleecker Street with the burning building behind it.
Yeah, that was sick.
I was like, that's the one, man.
Yeah, dude, those guys that whole crew is so talented, man. So like I was like, hey, please let me know how I can support and like promote it. And they've been sending me a lot of cool like video clips and photos and stuff. And I've just been trying to rush it on there. Like, yeah, dude,
we'll drop it in here too. We'll drop it in the description here and put it up within however I edit this. We'll make sure we show it off.
Love it, dude. Yeah, they'll appreciate that too.
But just thinking about like, they want to do that for that 1990s movie just shows everyone how sort of impactful that first one was and how like it's been the GOAT for ever. Essentially, it was one and then it was done. But then we go after that first one, we go to Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah,
a bit lighter, a bit just a bit different. It was a bit of a 180 from that first movie, because I think around the time that's when Parents came out, talked about the violence in the first movie, the use of weapons. That's why we had like Michelangelo using sausages instead of nunchucks. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, Joey, I had those foam nunchucks growing up, and I was.
Oh, dude, that was my favorite turtle. Still is to this day. So you're always practicing, thinking you know what you're doing, dude.
So, but yeah, that second one, just reflect on that second movie. What were your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. You know, it's a lot different. It's a lot lighter. But I think at the time, I don't remember thinking that whatsoever, right? Again, it comes out within a year, and it's probably 1990 to 91 movies like was probably the biggest time ever for Turtles in general, because that obviously skyrocketed with, like you said, coming out of their shell tours, the toys, everything. So I remember being stoked. I do remember really wishing that Bebop and Rocksteady were in it, but at the same time, I thought Toka and Razor were cool. I was like, man, these guys look kind of scary. They look like you know, good bad guys there. I like the idea of Kino. Like, I love his character, man. And I was like, this is cool because he's kicking ass like with the Turtles kind of thing. But yeah, at the time, like, I mean, again, I still really enjoy Secret of the Ooze. I know that one, you know, I think I recite that one probably just as much as the first. But yeah, when you look at it now, they're definitely completely different. But I still think the second one's great.
The only thing I picked up were like the voice changed from Corey Feldman to
I don't even know who does this. Is it someone famous?
He was a voice of Robbie in Dinosaurs. Remember that TV series?
Was Robbie his teenage
son? Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna have to YouTube that. I remember the show and I remember that character, but I don't remember what his voice sounded like.
Yeah, but it was his name's on the tip of my tongue. It's like Leaf something. So, Leaf is it Leaf Tillman? Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
So he voiced. I remember that. It's just a change in voice, you know.
Sure.
I noticed that because Donatello in the first movie was he had a lot of the good one-liners, you know?
Yeah.
And because I guess they may have given him those because of Corey Feldman too. But
sure.
He had a really.
He was also a thicker turtle, man. The second one, I was like, oh, he dropped some lbs, dude. He was the skinniest of the group.
He was slim, man. He was he was sleek. But that's the only little thing I picked up. And again, we brought Shredder back for it. The only thing I wish we would have got more Super Shredder at the end. Like, dude,
absolutely. That should have been like a full out brawl with Toka and Razor helping him.
Yeah, because compared to like that first fight, I'll just watch the first movie, fast forward all the way to the rooftop, and just watch that because it was so good, you know.
Yeah.
So I was
and I remember as a kid like cheering for Shredder almost in a way.
Really?
In a way I was like, he is a badass, dude.
Well, you
like,
you understood that. Oh, no doubt.
You were like, man, this guy, like, it was almost like intimidating as a kid, being like, oh man, the Turtles really are not a match for this guy right now. Like,
what was wild is like years after they released some of like the deleted scenes from the first movie. So they showed one where like it was that same scene where he walked in the first movie, but he was like just sitting on the ground, and I think he got attacked.
A bunch of like foot soldiers.
And I was like, if they would have kept that in,
photos of that, yeah.
Even if they would have kept that in, I would have known how much of a badass he was from that point. But they didn't even need it, honestly, because just his presence was enough.
Oh, dude. Just the music, and then when they roll the cape over the blade.
So good.
I was like, this guy's tough, dude.
But Secret of the Ooze, we get the whole origin story sort of the Turtles. We get a new April O'Neil too. So we get no Casey Jones. But again, as a kid, you're like, oh, well, we're moving on. At least I have the 4 Turtles with me. So that's all I cared about,
Right.
We jump into the third one. This is where you obviously got off the ride.
It's I saw
what
it in
made
theaters.
You get off the ride, man?
I saw it in theaters, and I remember being confused when I left. I think I remember leaving it and thinking, okay, I think that was cool. Like I wasn't like, I didn't feel as good as the first and second. And then when it came out on VHS, I remember my dad got it for me like day one. And I remember watching it and being like, this sucked. And again, I don't think I used that word, but I remember just
knew
93. I'm like 9 years old. So I remember just being like, what was this, dude? I remember just being really disappointed with it, I think, at that point in time.
You knew it didn't live up to those first 2. Like, I think we all knew, and you wanted to like it,
Absolutely.
You wanted to be like, okay, they're back. But again, this is stuff we didn't know at the time, but we obviously knew, they don't look the same. So what happened? They changed from Jim Henson's Feature Shop to another company, which, I mean, they looked fine, but they looked goofy at times. Where they never they never looked goofy in the first 2 movies.
That's a great point. Their suits look stupid. Some of them even looked like Raph and Leo look very similar. Like their face, like it's absolutely.
Can we talk about this real quick? So they're and this will get into the new movie too that's coming out, but they're supposed to be teenagers, right?
Yeah.
But Ralph's voice in all of them, Ralph has like a typical like Brooklyn,
he sounds hard,
smoker like New York voice
in his like 30s. That's an amazing point. I've never thought about that. He definitely does not have the teenager voice.
For me, they've always felt like more than teenage. Again, they're kids. You hear it from Splinter all the time, right?
Right.
That they're kids, and you get it. They joke around, they do whatever. But like you look at the stuff that they've gone through so far. It's like, man, they're kind of old, man.
That's a good point, dude.
They saved New York City. But the third one for me, like I knew it was different. There's a few lines in it where I enjoy. I don't know. I do. Corey Feldman is back as
and I don't think I put that together when I was a kid. I don't think I realized like, oh man, he sounds like Donnie from the first one. I don't think I thought about that until years later.
Well, this is going to be. I should have asked this from the beginning, but it seems like your favorite turtle was Mikey. So mine was Donatello. Like for some reason I just gravitated to him, and then Corey Feldman gave him the great one-liners where it was like, all right, this is my guy, man. He's smart and he can. He can burn somebody if he needs to, roast somebody if he needs to.
Donnie was always my number 2, and I think it was because of that movie. I loved the bond that Mikey and Donnie had throughout the 1990 movie. And I think that's what made me really like him. Is like those were my top 2 was Mikey and Donatello.
And that's not talked about enough either, because again, you always have like the Raph and Leo sort of storyline. Leader. Raph might want to take him out. I don't know. Like he might want to be the leader, stuff like that. But Mikey and Donatello, they were, especially that first movie.
They're down with whatever, dude. They're like
pork ring.
They don't care.
Pork ring, exactly.
They're like, we're down to kick ass, but we want to have a good time while we're doing this.
And they just crept out. They're sitting on the floor watching cartoons together. You know, Ninja kicked the damn rabbit. Like that's
yes, do something. Yeah, dude, I love it.
But the third one, that was probably like the end. I was like, okay, let's take a break from Ninja Turtles movies. And then it was fine. Like it's nothing to write home about, you know?
No, definitely not.
But then we fast forward. I think we get the animated TMNT.
Was that 2007? I think. Yep.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, because I was like right in college, I think, around that time. So 07 or so. Yeah. Felt like a bit of a continuation from the live action movies, just because they showed like the Shredder's helmet and all that other stuff at the end of that movie.
Right.
But
yeah, the scepter and
Yeah, but I think for like an animated outing, it was pretty dope. Like the rain fight with Leo.
That's the best part. That's the best part, I think, is that
But yeah, that one came up. Then what else after that? Then we get the Michael Bay Turtles, right?
Dropped two of them. Yeah.
So give me your thoughts on that one, Joey. I got a lot on that one. There's good and bad. There's stuff I like, stuff I don't. Your thoughts?
I mean, I don't really. They're okay, right? Like I've said this before. Like I went with my buddy Click to Enlarge to see him. We were like, we're going to see it no matter what. I don't care what the reviews are. We're going to see it.
Yeah.
But what really stood out to us after the first one was leaving the theater and seeing these families walking in to see the second showing of it, right? Like, kids are all decked out in like turtle gear, and I was like, this is the point, dude. Like you said earlier, it's not made for, it's not made for us, man. It's made for these kids it's the new generation that are stoked on it. So yes, it has to be updated. It has to be with the times. It has to be with what kids like or what kids think's funny. It's got to be up to date with technology. Like, yes, that's got to happen, right? So like, the attempt was, I think it was cool that they attempted to do it. And the second one I enjoyed because, again, I was like, cool, Bebop, Rocksteady, and Krang. Like as goofy as Bebop and Rocksteady kind of were and they looked, I love that they brought them into that. Again, I don't watch those really ever. I mean, like you said, I probably have them on Blu-ray or like in iTunes, but I don't really watch those like on a regular basis or anything like that. But I mean, you got to take it for what it is. It wasn't made for me.
Exactly. And I think that's what a lot of people sort of had to come to grips with when watching or going to see it. It was that first initial reaction to seeing how huge they were. And I was like, okay, that kind of seems pretty dope, man. I'll roll with you here. And the look of them, they were all sort of different. They looked different throughout two movies, obviously, but they looked like they had a personality too. Again, this is me watching as a fan because I want to love it still.
Sure.
But there's other parts within it where I think we get to in the minutia of like critiquing it. Like it's a movie. It's four giant turtles walking around New York City. Like right. Let's have fun with this.
Take it for what it is. Yeah.
Let's have fun with this. And there's lines throughout that. I'll go back and watch like the snow scene every now and then, because that one was pretty cool. I didn't like that they were bulletproof because I was like, where's the stakes, man? Like, how do you destroy them? But other than that,
that was I remember seeing that in the moment. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, but whatever.
Other than that, and they didn't do much fighting in that, but it was fine. The Shredder fight was pretty dope at the end. Then we get the second one. We jump to that one where it felt like when I saw the trailer for it, I felt like, okay, they saw what they did with the first one, and they were like, okay, let's flip it. Let's do Saturday morning cartoon, man. We had the Party Wagon, we had Bebop and Rocksteady, it was far more cartoon-like in that second movie than the first one, and I actually enjoyed that, to be honest with you. As a fan, I wish they could have gone through the part where they could be human a little bit more. I thought that would have been a pretty dope storyline to keep going with, like maybe somebody, and I think they did this in a cartoon episode too, where like Mikey he used some sort of mutagen and became human.
I think I remember that.
And that would have been a pretty sort of dope thing to see because he was the dynamic of like Mikey, he wanted to be up with the people. Like his personality was like, he wants to be up there, not in the sewer.
Right.
I thought if they could have gone and done something like that for a little bit of that movie, I thought that would have been pretty dope.
And then I completely forgot how much Casey Jones ruined it for me. He was such a puss, dude. Like,
Stephen Amell, yeah, I like him as Arrow, but
that's Officer Jones, and one day I'm gonna be a detective.
I was like, what, dude? Does anyone know who Casey Jones really is? Because that made me mad. I remember that. I'm like, I know it's a new take, but I'm like, this guy sucks.
Yeah, I think if any character you sort of keep close to the comic book or close to like the origin or the original thought of him, I think it's Casey Jones, man, because the hockey mask, the long hair, just the being the badass that he's supposed to be.
I say this like where it's not made for us. I get it, but like he's also a vigilante. So I mean, and this guy wants to be a cop.
Be a cop.
Come on, dude. But again, like I said, wasn't made for me, so I can't.
Well, it was. But again, as a fan, you can still sort of give your opinion on it. Where it's like, man, wish we could have been this way. I'm not for like the toxic fandom. That's sure. There's no place for that in this. In this.
Read some of the comments when I post stuff about either Rise or Mayhem, dude.
Okay,
like so some horrible people come out of the woodwork, man, and just like to
go ahead.
They come out and they're just like such like rude people. Like, you can state your opinion, but when people start getting disrespectful, like that's when I'm like, all right, you're blocked, dude. Like you're gone. Like you said, I'm not letting any of that sit there. And like, I appreciate when other people like will defend certain stuff or like, but when people are disrespectful, I'm like, nope, you're gone, dude. I don't need that on this page.
Yeah, and usually if somebody says, because again, I've done some DC stuff here and there, DC comic stuff, and I'll get a comment here and there on TikTok or somewhere, and somebody will call me like a whiny ass boy or something like that.
Yeah,
I'll say, thanks for the comment. Like, I'm like, thanks for the comment. I give my reason for why. I stated what I stated, and I was like, hope you enjoy the episode. So, and I get no replies back from that. So right. Maybe I'm giving them time that they don't need, but at the same time, it's like, man, I'm not gonna go back at you over something that.
Oh, who cares? It's the internet. Yeah,
I know, right? So let's jump into Rise. Well, not Rise, but Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah,
so
dude.
We saw the trailer for that a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago.
Yeah, and I think it's been a little bit longer. Yep.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on that? Because I'm super stoked about it.
Yeah, dude, I'm very excited. I'm very excited, and maybe it's also because I'm a dad, and again, I have a 7-year-old daughter who I showed her the trailer and she lost it, dude. She's like, "Is this out now? Can we go see it?" And I know she's very excited about it. I'm very excited. Like. The anime, like everyone tells me, like, and I've seen trailers for like Spider-Verse. I haven't seen Spider-Verse. Everyone's like, but that's like the animation seems very similar to that. So I've seen like clips and trailers. And I'm like, oh yeah, that does look like it. But again, it's funny. I posted it and everyone's like, man, they sound like kids.
Yes.
And it goes back to what you said. I was like, hold on a second. You're mad that teenagers sound like teenagers for the first time?
Joey, yeah, man.
It's been adults the whole time. You know what I mean? Playing these characters. And then people get mad that it's like an all-star cast, dude. I mean, the amount of people that are going to be in it is going to be insane, dude. So like,
yeah, it was like a laundry list of like a groceries list, so, like, sort of.
Dude, I'm working with a couple folks right now, man. Like we're already working on some Mutant Mayhem Ninja Turtle pins, dude, that are like in the works. My plan is to drop them at the latest like July, like a month before the movie comes out.
Gotcha, because that logo that might be one of my favorite logos. Just the dripping sort of ooze or whatever on the logo for the next movie for Mutant Mayhem.
Oh yeah, it's cool, dude. Yeah, and then I don't know if you saw the one again. You got the koozie from Fresh Prince by Blair, but he made one for me of the new logo.
I think that's what I saw.
Yeah, that's just the one he made that one for me because it just says Ninja Toitles instead of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I thought that looked super rad, dude. He like sent it to me one morning. He's like, "What do you think?" And like we changed a couple things. I was like, "Dude, this looks insane!" Like I love it.
Yeah, I think that movie's gonna introduce another audience, another younger audience to.
And seeing the toys,
Turtles.
I was like, "Great! I'm gonna start buying these now too." Like the toys look great, dude. I think like. I don't know. I'm very excited for it, man. I think it's going to be a completely new take, and I think it looks amazing.
We talked earlier about how they didn't sort of sound like kids or teenagers. they sounded like teenagers. They interacted like kids.
Yeah, they're being goofy
with their siblings.
Like, people also forget that teenagers is from 13 to 19. That's a big range, dude. Like,
very.
Like, they don't sound like they do in like the 1990 movie. I'm like, yeah, no kidding, dude.
Yeah, I don't think Mikey's surfer voice will work in his California surfer voice will work in today's 2023.
Yeah, I mean, it was
very of the time.
I mean, it would exactly, and it would make completely less sense to do that right now. Like, so I mean, who knows? But
just seeing the preview that we saw from it, I'm super excited about it because it's a different take. We don't really know what that story entails.
I'm gonna call it right now. I feel like they're gonna drop the next trailer is gonna have Shredder in it.
You think so?
Because the only reason I'm guessing that is they show Bebop and Rocksteady, and they didn't just become Bebop and Rocksteady on their own. So I was like, dude, I bet they're waiting to say who's Shredder, and then they're gonna show like a quick clip in the next trailer that comes out this summer. I bet.
And that's going to get us all hooked to go see it. Because
absolutely, I feel like it'd be such a great idea. Like, all right, we're going to show, because then you know the list of other characters, but you didn't see the other characters in the teaser. So they're going to show those characters. They're going to show what those look like, and they're going to drop a Shredder. I feel like that's going to happen.
And you know what? Like having Seth Rogen as like the creator and director of this movie sort of fits him, because I think they even said in the preview, like he's something teenage movies or something like that, like he's the be all end all of like teenager movies or something like that.
Sure. He grew up with the Turtles like you and I did, man. So I mean, I'm pretty sure he's close in age with us too. So I mean, he was living on that stuff.
So I don't know if you heard, but Colin Jost and his brother are still developing like another live action Ninja Turtles movie.
I heard that, but I a while ago, but I didn't know if that was really still happening or if it was even true.
Well, I don't know if you follow him or not, but it's a shout out to Old Turtle Den.
Oh yeah, dude.
He's
got great content.
So good, man. I've gotten lost on their pages, like on their YouTube channel, just over and over again.
And they're so quick with stuff too, man. And I think they just hit 100,000 subscribers.
Oh shoot, man! Yeah, I have been one.
They showed their plaque or whatever you want to call it, and I was like,
gotcha.
Congratulations! Like that's insane.
Yeah, and but I think they recently posted that it's still in development. So I'm anxious to see how this works. Again, we live in a time where things are supposed to be like in a universe. That seems like to be the key word for the time. But
sure.
This obviously is going to stand alone since it's animation, you know?
Right.
But it seems like I'm anxious to see how that works, because I don't know much about Colin Jost's brother. I know Colin Jost just from Saturday Night Live. And he's married to Scarlett Johansson. So those are two checks on him. So
yeah, there you go.
So check.
He knows what's up. Yeah.
Yeah, let's give him a shot. But I'm anxious to see how that works out, especially when we think of a live action one. Do you think if we get another one, will it be like Michael Bay's, or will it be a little bit of Michael Bay mixed in with like our 90s movie?
I think it'll be nothing like Michael Bay. I'm sure they want to get rid of that too, or just it's not like. I don't think they would do that because they're like, well, that wasn't really successful, so they're not going to try to repeat that formula. But again,
so you think we'll get suits for this movie?
I don't think. No, I don't. Like, I think it'll still be. I still think it'll be CGI, but I think they'll try to make it look as much of like a suit as they can.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no clue. You know, this is just obviously I'm just pulling this out of nowhere right now, but that would be my guess.
So Joey, if you could make your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, we give you what's a good budget? $500 million. That's an insane budget.
Okay.
We give you that. How are you making this movie?
I don't know how I'm making it, but what I do know is my obsession with time travel is making a Turtles in Time movie.
Okay.
So I don't care where they're going, but they're going to different times in history, or they're going back like Back to the Future style to past times where they were. Like, I'm obsessed with Back to the Future is probably like my favorite movie of all time.
It's the greatest franchise ever. Three movies, dude, we're good. We're done.
I mean, dude, I got my DeLorean right here on my forearm, dude.
They better never touch those. I said it before. They remake everything else. Don't touch them.
They will whenever Bob Gale and what's his name die, because they say as long as they're alive, it won't happen. But once they die, dude, that's probably the first thing people are going to try to do.
I hope not, Joey.
They're going to try to
really
buy
hope.
the estate. I know, me too. But anything with time travel, dude, would be way to me. I would love to see something with that.
Okay, and in my mind, if I got that budget, I would love to sort of have I'm finding suits, Joey. I'm gonna have 4 guys in rubber suits somehow. The most pristine looking rubber suits you've ever had.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, you say that now, but if they look like the 1990 Turtles in like a movie of 2023, I think we'd be saying something different. But like you said, if you got 500 million, these suits better look legit.
Suits. Oh, this is gonna be a big budget with a form of CG. Because I still need
like a hybrid.
Yeah, I still need those versions of like the turtles we grew up on and the turtles today that are like just on rooftops, just running, man. Like we need to see that too. So that would be pretty dope. But yeah, that pretty much clears us up on our video games, TVs, movies, all the sort of turtle franchises that we can sort of cover within this time. So just have some fun with this one at the end. So Joey, got some rapid fire questions for you. Okay,
let's do it.
So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put 30 seconds on the clock, and it's just first thing that comes to mind. There's no trivia to it. It's just here's your answer. Okay. So 30 seconds. I'm gonna run through them as quickly as I can to get through a few of them, and we'll talk about some of the ones that you picked.
All right, awesome, dude. All right. Let's do it. Yep.
I'm glad I picked this first one. All right, and so what's your third favorite Ninja Turtle?
Raphael.
Which turtle has the best nickname?
Mikey.
What's the coolest, most obscure fact that you know about the turtles?
Oh man, dude, that one's tough.
You can say pass.
I pass. Yeah, I would have to pass on that one.
Best color bandana.
Orange.
Most skilled turtle.
It's Mikey. I guess I'm gonna say that for everything.
Mutagen or ooze? Oh, okay. I was gonna say mutagen or ooze. Which one?
Ooze.
Okay. I'm gonna put this one in here too because I need to know. Better song, Ninja Rap or Turtle Power?
Oh, Turtle Power, dude.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I would have to say "This Is What We Do" by MC Hammer's the best song on that whole. Is that the one in the? That's when they show the warehouse.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So, dude, I made a stupid TikTok video, dude, like a year ago, where I put Casey Jones' mask on, and it's supposed to be like being at the club, and I'm playing that song, right? This is what we like by MC Hammer. And then I wrote like when you're at the club and you realize the Turtles replaced you with a pizza boy, and all of a sudden I'm like jamming, and all of a sudden the record scratches. I'll have to send it to you. The record scratches, and then it goes into Go Ninja Go, and like I pull the mask up, being all pissed off because I'm like, oh cool, I'm gone, and now it's Kino at that point.
And that was the fun with the second one. It was lighter, like we said, but just that overall fun of being. It was a fun movie. We knew they weren't supposed to be seen by people. We knew that, but we were like, what the dude say? Look at those costumes.
He's like, I love this place. Yep.
Yeah. It was. We accepted it and we enjoyed it, man. And
for sure.
And I guess just like for closing, I'm gonna give you the floor, Joey, just to express your fandom for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I know we've gone through your history so far, but just, I guess, like that overall meaning of those turtles to you, and especially what you're doing with them today too, and all the partners that you have as well too. Yeah,
I think it's at this point, right? It's, as we've been talking, it's the different variations of it, dude. I think that's what's so cool. So again, like I mentioned, I had the honor of meeting Kevin Eastman at C2E2 here in Chicago, end of March. And he did so I got to get a photo op with him, which was amazing. I got to give him a goodie bag, like a care package. I gave him like every single thing that NinjaToitles.com has, and he was like, super appreciative of it. And as we're doing that, he then had a panel, and they were like, "Oh, if you have any questions, just go line up. And I had no idea what I wanted to say, but I lined up, and I'm like, there's 6 people ahead of me.
Yeah.
And somebody, the second or third guy had the same question I was thinking about. So I was like, you know what? I don't even have a question. I just want to thank him for everything that he's done, because as I'm waiting in line, I'm looking around the room, and there's people of all walks of life, right? All different generations. And I was like, what's cool is that not everyone is here for the same reason. It's not like, well, everybody in this room watched the cartoon in '87, right? Like their introduction could have been Rise, who knows? So I think that's what I love about it so much, is that it has so many different variations, so many different generations. But it's a great community to be a part of. Like with Ninja Toitles, like I have some of the coolest, nicest people that I've ever met, that I've ever got to talk to. I've either met in person or again talked through on Instagram or wherever, dude. But I just love the whole community vibe, I think, with it.
Yeah, and I think that was a really, really good answer to really good reason behind, because I think those, within all those fandoms, you look around those rooms, whatever it might be, you see people from different walks of life. You see people, okay, we're all different, but we love this one thing so much, and it meant so much to us, that you grew up, who's your favorite turtle, or here's a playground, and who are you during recess, Halloween costumes, this is what I want to be for Halloween. So all that stuff sort of like just I don't know, it makes, thinking about it, looking at like your background, look, is that a cereal?
Yeah, that's the serial art.
Okay,
that's the serial artwork. Yep.
So, looking at that poster and just bringing back so many memories of that poster, and of those feelings of watching it. I remember, my dad passed away like 5 or so years ago, and I just remember growing up, like on early mornings, putting that VHS tape in. Yeah. And he would like sit there and like watch it with me. Like, did he enjoy it? I don't know.
He probably did, dude. He probably dug it, man.
But he
loved how much you loved it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And there were times where he'd get in on it with me, and stuff like that. We're like, okay, we're watching this, and he's like a hype man for the Turtles the entire time. His favorite, I think, was Ralph, just because a hothead, and he just do whatever he wanted to do. He didn't care. He was a rebel. He was a cowboy of the Turtles. But I think reliving those memories and those Saturday mornings and the toys, the bed sheets, just everything of it. I mean, it's a special place in our hearts for it. And I'm glad, like, even as an adult now, I have a platform, or at least I talk to people like yourself who grew up during that time and know like what that feels like. And like you said, just getting those different versions of Turtles as the years go on. So like for your son and your daughter, and my kids, when I have them, can be like, okay, here's your version of the Turtles. They're gonna be around for generations to come at this point. Yeah. I think they're a staple of what cartoons they're here to stay, as easy as I can say it. They might lose sometimes, but they'll be back. They'll always be back.
There's always something for someone, dude, for sure.
Exactly. But Joe, tell the people where to find you. I know you said in the top of the show, just want to get out there again.
Yeah, dude. So again, Instagram, it's Ninja Toitles, Toitles. Definitely ninjatoitles.com. Got a lot of cool gear. Again, specializing more in like enamel pins. I have an enamel pin that I should have leftovers. If you haven't seen it yet, dude, it's shout out to Lee Wiley. We work on a lot of stuff together. We did the computer screen from Secret of the Ooze, where it shows that there's one canister active.
Yeah.
So that one's still available for pre-order, but I'm going to be hopefully having those in hand by the end of the week and then shipping those out. And then we also have again, Fresh Prince by Blair. We did a Melty Foot t-shirt together. So kind of like how you have Bebop and Rocksteady, but with a foot soldier and Ninja Turtle colors. That t-shirt, I might have a couple left over. Those are taking longer than expected. So shout out to everybody who's waiting patiently. This should not have taken as long as it has right now, but I think it'll be worth the wait. So those are 2 new items that should be available within like the next week to week and a half. That's super limited. And then again, lots in the works that I'm hoping to drop this summer before Mutant Mayhem comes out.
Perfect. Joey, again, man, thanks for jumping on. Again, anytime you want to talk Turtles, let me know. I'll let you know.
Dude, you let me know, dude. I'll be there. I appreciate
Batman is on the docket. Let's not forget that.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, you would be able to do a whole episode just talking about Shredder's Revenge. I'm telling you, man.
Okay. Oh, my homework. That's right.
Yes.
My homework. I'm gonna make sure I do that. Joey, I appreciate it, man. This is another episode of All Star Fandom. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, do all the social media stuff. Tell a friend, share a friend. Share a friend. That's not right. Share it to your friend. Don't share friends. Oh, you can if you're that nice. But we're on Instagram at All Star Fandom Show. Again, Joey, thanks for hopping on. I really appreciate it. Until next time, peace.
Later. Thank you.